If you come outside, this is the iconic Big Brother eye logo. It's a lady's eye or a gentleman with long lashes. And this is where the celebrities will be coming in from 9 o'clock tonight. And look at these. These are the actual stairs. I'm walking downstairs on a live television programme. What could possibly go wrong? This guy standing here, he's a bit of a twat. He is singing lyrics that don't make no sense. Billy Joel has won awards, maybe won an Oscar too. He wrote the song, so why can't we sing that?
We didn't start the fire. No, it was created since it was in beta. We didn't.
You can't change the lyrics to the bit that we duet on because I don't know what you're singing.
Ooh, she's hot but a psycho, a little bit psycho. My horrible teeth. Right, this tooth is chipped, and this tooth is chipped from when I was 16 and got drunk. Like first time ever, absolutely steaming. And my friend didn't think I was drunk. I said, I'm drunk. And I lay on the floor.
This is going to go viral. Let's just say I'm free, I'm ready, I've got some moves. Don't know what's so funny. Mind blown. He's leaving me hanging. I am not a comedian or a comic. I am a broadcaster.
Yes.
This is the worst thing we've ever done. Hello. You got to tell me what I've just spent. Well, good evening. Welcome to the 11 o'clock show revisited with me, Iain Lee. If you're watching live, it's Sunday night. What's broken here? Everything's broken. It's Sunday night, it's 8 o'clock on twitch.tv/Iain Lee. You might be watching this video on YouTube, or you could be listening to the podcast that starts Monday, the 24th of February, acast.com/IainLee11. And it will be on iTunes and all your favourite podcast places. If you're watching live, hello. Hello, Nelly, Catherine, Drunken Christ, Tractor Monkey, William SD. If you are listening to the podcast, do let me know if this works as a podcast, guys, because, I don't know. If you are listening to this as a podcast, you're welcome to come and join me any Sunday night, 8 o'clock, and join in the chat. It's free, twitch.tv/Iain Lee. But I will just say this, I have a little bit of business to do before we get to the fun. It's going to be fun tonight. If you are watching this, you can subscribe and help keep this channel going. Subscribing is easy. If you have Amazon Prime, it's free. You link your Prime with your Twitch account, and then you can subscribe to me, and I get £5. That's £5 that you would not be able to spend. You don't have access to that £5. Hey, Ollie. So that's free. If you haven't got Prime, you can subscribe with £5. If you subscribe with Prime, you have to renew it every month. Otherwise, it doesn't auto-renew. If you haven't got Prime, you can subscribe with £5. Or you can chuck me some bits. You just chuck a few quid. Or you can go to paypal.me/Iain Lee. Now, I've had a busy evening, right? Watching the On Cinema Oscar special, which is just a joy. And then I tried to get my Oculus Quest connected. This is a VR unit connected to my PC, and I bought the lead and everything, and it's really, really difficult. But this is so boring. This is what my life is. I've been a Mac person for 15 years. I've only just come over to a PC. Everything is stored on my C drive, not my D drive. So my C drive is full. So I thought, just before I did a live stream, Derry, thank you for the subscription. Thank you. Just before a live stream, I thought, well, I'll transfer everything from the C drive to the D drive. This top is brand new. It's XL and it's still too short on the sleeves. And of course, following is not the same as subscribed, Mr. Darkland. And of course, it's taking hours. So let me know if this stream is a little bit... I was going to play Elite tonight, but I can't. I need the strip for the F keys. Anyway, Welcome to the show where I look at old episodes of the 11 o'clock show that I have not seen since they aired 22 years ago and sit here and cringe with embarrassment at how young I look and how awful some of the jokes were. Now, got some exciting news. A lot of the episodes are missing. And today we were going to start series 2, which is where Daisy and Mackenzie get involved. Maybe Ricky. But some very kind people have found quite a few, actually, of the missing episodes. I think we might have, in a week or two, a complete series 1. We're going to do it slightly out of order. So we did episodes 1, 2, 3, and 6. I haven't got episode 4 yet, but I think it's coming. But we are going to go back today to episode 5, which I'm actually quite pleased about because I'm kind of dreading series 2 because that's when I take control. Oh, I remembered something. I remembered how I got the gig presenting on series 1. They kept trying different people and I kept going, and I don't know why, because this is not like me. I kept going, I could do that. I could do that. I could see it. I could see exactly what they needed. I could do that. And they went, okay, yeah, sure. They try someone else. They filmed a couple of pilots in the studio. One with Sean Pye. Can't think who else. And I went, yeah, I could do that. And eventually they just went, okay, let's give him a go. That's how I got the gig. I've forgotten that. I've completely forgotten that. Isn't that funny? Apparently I'm revisiting this at the same time as the Love Island final. So my numbers may be a little bit down this evening. This is a strange thing, doing this. And I am really wondering if this is good for my mental health. It's a weird thing to look back at yourself. I'm afeared of getting stuck in nostalgia too much. But also, it brings out a lot of weird feelings. I wasn't very well at this time. I was on antidepressants there. I think I was taking Effexor, which is the drug I'm taking now. Back on that. I was very lost. I was very confused. I was full of fear. My drug intake was increasing. And so going back to this time could be cathartic. Lady Bobbin says in the chat, it could be. But I'm getting a little bit of trepidation. Mr. Darkland, thank you for the subscription. I really appreciate that. So I don't know if this is helpful for my mental health or if this is not helpful. And I'm trying to remember where I was at the time in my head. I wasn't happy. I was excited. I haven't got any cream soda this week. I'm really sorry. All I've got is a decaf cough. Sorry to disappoint you, Donald. Pump 66. No cream soda. I don't quite know where I was in my head. I don't think I was particularly happy. But this is October 1998, a year after Princess Diana died. Should we just get into it today? Let's just get in and have a little look and see what we've got. That should be that. There we go. So we're going to go back an episode. This is Series 1, Episode 5. Let's have a look. Thank you to everyone who got in touch with lost episodes. Gingerbit Mark, thank you for the subscription. More Chiba being used for the opening titles. They weren't used. Whoa! Hang on, I'm playing the wrong episode. Thank you! You can play a drinking game. Drink every time that Diana is mentioned. Playing the wrong episode. Hang on, guys. Series 1, Episode 3. No, hang on a minute. No. Hang on. I think this is Episode 4. No, this is episode 3. Right, hang on a minute, guys. Technical difficulties. Thank you for the bits, Pete. Thank you for the bits. Right, let me find it, because someone definitely sent me episode 4. Series 1, episode... Episode 5. There it is. It's right next to it. I'm an idiot. I'm an absolute idiot. Thank you. Here we go. Right, should we try again? We can skip the theme tune. Listen to the audience. They're going wild.
Wednesday, the 7th of October, it's Channel 4, and this is the 11 o'clock show. I'm Fred Macaulay.
And I'm still Brendan Burns, despite the voices in my head.
And I'm Iain Lee. There we go, that's a lot better. Now, you may have seen BBC's Changing Rooms this evening, a phenomenally successful show based on a very simple idea, which is why, in an attempt to boost viewing figures, we've decided to fuck up a previously perfectly presentable part of our set.
So what will October the 7th, 1990...
That was a weird opening, wasn't it? I don't know what I was wearing there. Was I supposed to look like Laurence Llewelyn-Bowen? The sound isn't great. I can certainly turn it up. It would appear... I've not checked this yet, so it would appear that the sound isn't great on this one.
98 contribute to history. Let's find out with our news in a minute. Tory conference refuses to be governed by Brussels. They insist that Britain's decision should still be made in Washington.
So many references. So many references to Europe. It would appear I'm part of the problem. It would appear I was part of the MSM even back then, and thank you for the bits, Mandy. I don't know.
After failing with Viagra, the players are convinced that Chinese herbal remedies will cure impotence.
When we race it, we always do.
Britain goes bonkers for the fat camp craze. Russell Grant mishears and books a comeback tour.
Okay. I mean, it's a slow start so far, isn't it? I mean, it's not a great lost episode. It's not the Beach Boys' Smile, is it?
As Russians' food supplies dwindle, Moscow Marathon gets off to a slow start. Coming up, Ali G talks God to a bishop.
It would seem that Ali G was on every single episode of this first series.
But that would be a better miracle than this chair getting up and moving up and down. If everyone treated each other as brothers. Now for me...
No, if this chair went up and down, that would be amazing.
I've taken my silly trousers off, so I don't... That was a really weird opening bit, reference to Changing Rooms. Changing Rooms. I mean, that was a messed up programme, wasn't it? No one ever came out and went, wow, thanks. You've really improved my room. Go back and watch. Maybe we'll do some commentaries on Changing Rooms and go, what the fuck were they thinking?
As the world recession...
I'm back at the desk. They're phasing Brendan out and they're kind of making me more important.
looms ever closer, Gordon Brown has issued a chilling warning. Thousands face dole as the Chancellor admits it's grim. Dressed in a fisherman's sweater and a cap, he apparently stormed into the Prime Minister's office and shouted, "Captain Mannering, we're all doomed!"
Despite the fact that yesterday saw Britain's biggest ever leap in share prices, our economy still seems to be wearing a dog collar and gimp mask and being treated like the rest of the world's bitch. So what does all this world financial collapse really mean? Well, if we turn to today's Telegraph, it becomes crystal clear.
Yep, they define the causes as follows.
Isn't it slow? It really is slow, this programme. And I remember it picks up speed in Series 2, but I bet when we get to Series 2, BD Line, thank you so much for the subscription. I really appreciate it. I suspect that when we get to Series 2, it's not going to be that much faster. I'm being asked, how does it feel so far? I feel old. I feel old.
Quote, the position of the hedge funds today is analogous to that of the banks in the past. A series of disasters over many years has brought the financial world to the Basel Agreement, which lays down minimum capital adequacy rules for deposit-taking institutions.
That's quite funny.
Now, obviously, that makes perfect sense to us. We're very clever. But will it be understood by stupid people?
Brendan?
So here's the 11 o'clock.
Now, what's interesting is because in the first couple of episodes, I was the dumb guy. I was the idiot. And now Brendan is the idiot.
Guide to
It's not Fred who slows it down. Fred is doing a great job.
how the world economy really works.
Now, let's take the Japanese economy. If interest rates rise by 2.8% per fiscal quarter, whilst inflation drops in line with the Nikkei average exchange rate, what will the effect on Britain be, Fred?
We're fucked.
We're fucked. I mean, this is quite funny. But you should have got
Here's a
straight
different
into
scenario.
this.
Now, supposing the American economy performs in lines with expectations, interest rates fall, inflations plummet, and the Dow Jones goes down like my sister.
Oh! Oh! Oh, Joe, I'm so sorry. Joe, I'm so sorry. Joe! Joe's not in tonight, is she? My sister's not. My sister sometimes pops in and watches these things. Joe, you're not here, are you? No one tell my sister. No one tell my sister what just happened. She's not listening. She's not here. Good. Do you know what? I think she bollocked. I remember her bollocking me for that gag when it went out. Don't WhatsApp her. I remember she bollocked me for that when it went out. I got in trouble for that. And 22 years later, history repeats itself.
How will this affect?
We're fucked.
Right. But there is hope to be had from the German economy. Interest up, inflation rising, but not too sharply, and the DAX is quite frankly all over the place. So this uncertainty obviously could have a beneficial effect for Britain.
Nope, we're still fucked.
It's bizarre, isn't it, that when the Japanese...
Stu says, I don't want to be that guy, but he's going to be that guy. It's got to be said, this early season hasn't... Let's call it a series. Come on, we're British. Huh? Hasn't made me laugh once so far. It's made me gasp a couple of times in shock, but funny. Mind you, it's difficult to make me laugh. I'm a miserable git. It's made me laugh. It's made me laugh. Not a lot, but I've had some genuine laugh out loud moments, and there's been some shocking stuff. Yeah, I should do a trigger warning. Some of this stuff is going to be really offensive.
screw up, we get a knock-on effect, but when they do brilliantly like they have for the last 20 years, none of that little yellow glitter rubs off on us.
So what hope is there for the global market? Well, experts say that the only way to avoid financial meltdown is to boost the confidence of the market.
Ah! No.
Joe's here! My sister's here! Joe, you didn't hear that, were you here when that happened? Oh, God, this is awful. Glitter Kitty 70. Everybody, shush. Everybody, shush. Did you see that joke? Right. Okay, well, okay. Do you remember that joke going out the first time? Because I remember that. Oh, God, this is awful. Well, thanks for watching, guys. It's been lovely to have you here, but I think we're done now. Oh, I did and I do. Now, here's the thing, of course, Joe. You can't do me because I'm in character there. That I'm speaking about a fictitious sister. It's a fictitious sister, okay? So, who doesn't actually exist. It's not, and I repeat, it is not about you. And dear podcast listener, this is why you should be here live every Sunday night as you can watch my family fall apart once again. In character as Iain Lee. This is my problem, man. This is the problem the monkeys had, and this is my problem. I shouldn't have used my real name. See you in court. I shouldn't have used my real name. Would have got away with it. Anyway, you can't sue me for libel. Could be true. It's
Now that
not.
I do know. All you have to do is take it up west, buy it something nice, and say its ass doesn't look as fat as last week. Works for me.
Slow. They were trying to. It was still at the point when we were trying to be satirical. So, you know, we would. It got, later on, it would just go, knob gags. But we were trying to be clever and satirical there. You know, the "we're fucked" thing was funny. The build up to it, way too slow. But what was great is Channel 4 were prepared to try stuff. They were prepared to try stuff. These 6 episodes, this 2 weeks was, and we've gone back, we're still on Series 1, Episode 5, because it's just turned up, if you were wondering. Channel 4 were prepared to try stuff. And they wanted to see stuff on screen to see if it would work or if it would fail. They were prepared to let stuff fail on here. A lot of it did. They were prepared, particularly this first series, they were prepared to let stuff fail to see if there was a nugget, to see. They wanted to try stuff.
Now, according to the reports today...
I notice I'm doing that a lot. Let's try again.
Now, according to the reports today, Cockney rhyming slang is being...
This one I remember as being funny. This one I remember as being funny. Pearly Kings and Queens. That's all I remember. Could be wrong.
Given a new lease of life with a host of new phrases, including Schindler's List, meaning pissed, and Claire Rayners, meaning trainers. Earlier on, I went eastward to investigate, and here I am over my shoulder.
Cor blimey, Struth, Governor. In addition to Jack the Ripper and Fat Pat the Butcher, the East End of London has given the world Cockney rhyming slang.
That coat we got from a charity shop. I went out with Andrew Newman and we bought that for a charity shop. It's a nice coat, that.
According to this morning's Daily Star, that's being modernised with loads of new words and phrases. Kermit the Frog. Kermit the Frog. Log. You might do a log. Dog. Dog. You got it right the second time. Suppose I needed a Brad Pitt. A what? A Brad Pitt.
Tom Tit. I mean, Pony and Trap, a crack.
Yeah, that's it. Little Orphan Annie. Bend down to speak to her.
Granny, right?
No, it's not Granny, but your Granny has one and would have used it when she was a bit younger.
Oh God, Fanny.
That's being
There we go, Fanny. Fanny gang.
Little Orphan Annie. Bend down to speak to her.
Granny, right?
No, it's not Granny, but your
Bend down and speak to a fanny. Jeez.
Granny has one and would have used it when she was a bit younger.
Oh God, Fanny.
The gag.
I like to go to the border, chalk down the frog and trode round a battle cruiser, have a buck of pigs here, have a gold watch and a violin.
But would your genuine salt of the earths notice a few I just made up? Blair's trip to China.
There's
China.
I'll give you a clue. It's something only that women have.
what, period?
Did he say period?
Go on, give us a clue. You might do it in the toilet, and if you flushed it away, that it would be a pick boater. It wouldn't be able to flush. It would be a old lady's arse. You might use it if you get on a bus. You wanted free travel on a bus, you might have to show your old lady's arse.
Pass.
So in theory, they know their lingo. But what about in practice? I'm now going to go amongst them with the aid of this typical East End disguise.
I'm wearing Pearly King and Queen.
Excuse me, pal, sorry, I'm busting for a Brad Pitt. Do you know where this Kermit is at all? Busting for a Brad Pitt. Do you know where's the Kermit at all?
Well, there was one over there, mate, but I don't know if it's open or not.
Oh, I'll have a look, thanks a lot. Excuse me, pal, do you know where the nearest battle cruiser is? I fancy a Nelson Mandela. I don't want to get too Schindlers, though, do I?
One just there.
OK, lovely. Cheers. Fancy a pint?
No.
Come on, treat. I've got an Ayrton Senna with me. Come on.
I mean, it's charming. Is it funny? I don't know if it's funny, but it's charming. It's the whimsy that we talk about. Someone's restored your factory settings there, Ian. Kath thinks I'm a Cockney.
Hey, pal, sorry, couldn't help. I've lost my Chuckle Brothers while Rose West was playing cock karaoke with my Shed Sevens.
Did I say cock karaoke? I've lost my Chuckle Brothers while Rose West was playing cock karaoke, did I say, with my Shed 7?
Excuse me, pal, sorry, couldn't help. I've lost my Chuckle Brothers while Rose West was playing cock karaoke with me.
Cock karaoke! While Rose West was playing cock karaoke.
Shed Sevens. It's all got a bit Channel 4 in it. You couldn't give us a hand, could you? Well, I've lost my Chuckle Brothers because Rose West was playing cock karaoke with me Shed Sevens. It's all, it's all gone a bit Channel 4. I'm in stun, I don't know what I'm doing. OK, that's brilliant. Thanks very much for your time, anyway. This has been Iain Lee for the old Barley Mow.
I mean, it's kind of charming. It's that whimsy thing that we talk about. The stuff where I've not got a microphone in my hand is hidden camera filming, and we'd be filming. The camera wouldn't be that well hidden. It would be Jade, our cameraman, would be about... He'd just be hiding around a corner, and we'd catch people so that they couldn't see what was... what would cock karaoke be? Anyway, and that was how we would do those. And I hated doing them because I was terrified, but I knew that what we would get would be very funny. Good question, Mr. Darkland. We would have to get permission. So after every bit with a microphone, we'd have to get them to sign a release form, and every bit with a hidden camera, a runner would come out, or I would do it, but I preferred it when the runners came out, and would say, if you just look over there, there's just a camera over there. You've been filmed for a late night topical comedy show. Can we get you to sign a release form?
34-year-old Swiss woman Katharina Schneider today appeared in court charged with stalking Christa Berg after a complaint from the singer.
Stalking Christa Berg? What the heck?
Now, first of all, Chris should realise that emotionally fraught people following him around shouting, "Oi, de Berg, your records are shite!" aren't in fact stalkers. They're just normal members of the public. But to be fair to the Irish crooner, this home video footage does seem to vindicate his story.
Oi, de Berg! I want my clothes back. I am sick of wearing this fucking red dress. I'm shagging the nanny and chuck my jeans.
Who's that, do we think?
Down.
It's not Daisy.
Well, you'll get more than a little romance from me, you mullet-headed Irish twat.
Now that was funny. That was funny. Wasn't it? Did many refuse to sign the release form? Not many. We've got one coming up later on, probably series 3, where I went to Brussels and we got in really big trouble because someone refused to sign the release form, and James Bobin still included him in the edit. We filmed him in Paris, maybe, at the Gare du Nord, something like that. And it was funny. I was trying to get urine samples off people, and he was up. He did all the stuff, and then no one got paid. No one got paid. And then when I said, "Oh, look, you're being filmed," and he said, "No, you can't use this. I refuse to let you use it." And James Bobin made the decision to keep it in because this guy was from New Zealand. We were in Paris, and he thought that it would never get seen. But it got seen. One of his relatives saw it, and Channel 4 had a big old payout, several £1,000s to this guy. And I got in trouble for it. Caroline, the commissioning editor for Channel 4, Caroline, can't remember her name. They thought it was me. I think James stitched me up, and I was furious. I got the blame for it. A lot of the rules of broadcasting, you'll see that later on if we've got the episode. A lot of the rules of broadcasting, not just for the channel, but for British broadcasting, were tightened. Caroline Leddy, that was her name, were tightened as a direct result of the 11 o'clock show. Stuff that I did out on the street, jokes in the studio, and Ali G. It changed the laws on broadcasting. This is fun.
A 4-year-old girl has been officially diagnosed as suffering from stress as a result of family disputes with noisy neighbours. Nicola Blenken's condition is so bad that she's been off school nearly every day for a month. Teachers noticed the telltale symptoms of stress during break times, where, according to one member of staff, she was hitting the milk carton like there was no tomorrow.
Staff knew something was wrong the day she handed in this writing assignment entitled My Day.
Oh, we're taking the piss. No, we're not taking... Are we taking the piss out of a 4-year-old with stress? Let's find out.
It goes like this. My day is spent trapped behind a desk pushing crayons. Is this what I've settled for? Is this who I am? The daily grind of puree breakfast, kissing dad off to work, potato prints, playgroups, skipping, and bed by 6:30. I feel trapped. My alphabetic spaghetti always forms the word doom. All the stories and news round are bad. My life is empty.
I remember this.
Only Radiohead understand me.
I remember this. I remember very little of the show. I remember... I remember one sketch where I wiped everything off the desk because me and Daisy were going to have sex. I remember Mackenzie dressed up as Osama bin Laden and we all thought he was going to get killed. I remember Frank Carson. And that's it. That's all I remember. I have a vague recollection of this. That was nice. We weren't taking the piss out of the girl. We weren't taking the piss out of the kids. That was nice.
This week it was revealed that products featured in the now infamous Star Report have been selling out due to the extra publicity it has given them.
What was the Star Report? Anyone remember? Star Report was obviously some big news. I didn't understand the newsy stuff.
List of presents that Monica gave Bill includes a plastic pocket frog, an Annie Lennox CD, a pumpkin label pin, and the pocket book of Jewish jokes entitled Oy Vey, the Things They Say.
A dip into it shows us the kind of gags we can expect to hear Bill spouting in the weeks to come. Here's a genuine example. There is no question that Romanian Jewish food is heavy. One meal is equal in heaviness, I would guess, to 8 or 9 years of steady mung bean eating.
Oy vey, the things they say.
Was he doing I think he was doing an accent there. I think he was doing an accent.
Here to tell us what else Bill Clinton and the rest of the United States have been up to is our US correspondent direct from New York.
Stu, do you know what, Stu? I'm just going to get... Because you'll get very upset about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a cheeky little timeout because you're getting very, very upset about stuff I don't actually think you need to get upset about. So just chill out, relax, and enjoy the show or don't enjoy the show. It's fine, but just chill out. Just chill out.
Rich Hall.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm here in New York City in front of the United Nations
still on
building
Series
where
1,
they're currently
Gaffer. We found a
debating
couple of lost
Resolution
episodes.
1199, which calls for restraint in Pakistan. Why? Because they have a nuclear bomb, which to me is pretty damn scary. You know why? Because you have to earn a nuclear bomb. You know what I'm saying?
I always found Rich's bits very slow, dry.
Nuclear
Nice
bomb.
guy,
Look,
but yeah.
Radio, television,
Oh,
car, rocket, nuclear bomb. Pakistan got some guy sitting on the pavement making a cobra dance out of a basket. Nuclear bomb. There'll be something in between, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking maybe karaoke. A little bit of line dancing from Billy Ray Cyrus. Something to occupy these people. Look, I don't have any answers to these world problems. I'm just reporting the facts to you. I'm Rich Hall here in New York City.
Now I'm at the desk on my own. Are they going to use me or are they going to use Fred and Brendan?
Now it's time for Rough Justice.
Fred and Brendan.
The BBC's Rough Justice programme concentrates on the plight of people arrested for murder or manslaughter. But what about the little guys who are serving shorter sentences for smaller crimes? Tonight...
It's funny, look, for those of you listening on the podcast, the chat is split between people who like Rich Hall and people who don't. When we get to Gervais, right? Gervais is kind of cancelled again now, but a few years ago he was the biggest comedy star on the planet. But before that, he was on this. He was on XFM and he was on this. And he divided people massively. Massively. People loved him. People absolutely loathed him. I was in the love camp. I was in the love Ricky Gervais camp. I thought he was hilarious. We did get in trouble with him for dropping a C-bomb once. So it was weird.
We're campaigning for justice for two Southport men, Stephen Gothrop and Steve Bain, who are currently serving 2 years for enticing 15,000 people to give them their old socks. This is absolutely true.
Wow. I like this.
They had claimed that the socks were to be used to raise money for charity, but they actually wanted the socks so they could satisfy their craving for sock sex.
Well, the soaring statistics for sock sex in this country speak for themselves. As we can see in the last 10...
Hang on a second. Is this a true story? Let's Google these people and find out.
15,000 people.
Let's we can find... So we can...
Slaughter. But what about the little guys who are serving shorter sentences for smaller crimes? Tonight we're campaigning for justice for two Southport men, Stephen Gothrop and Steve Bain.
Stephen Gothrop. Let's see if we can find out anything about Stephen. I'm guessing with a PH. Gothrop sock sex. Yes! Jesus! Here we go. Would you bear with me? The incredible true story of the Christian foot fetishists who stole 10,000 dirty socks. In 1998, which is the year this was done, two foot fetishists called the Southport Sock Men asked Andy Smith to give him a dirty sock for charity. Now Smith is making a movie about them? Can you find the movie? Andy Smith still remembers the night in 1998 when he fell victim to the Southport Sockmen. I was at a bar in Liverpool city centre, and there were these two guys in the place, and there were photographs being taken, and these guys are kind of attracting a lot of attention to themselves in a jovial manner. Curious, a teenage Smith called them over to his table, claiming to be collecting for the well-known charity, the Macmillan Nurses. The two men asked for cash donations, but followed up with an unusual request. We understand times are hard being in a recession, Smith recalled him explaining, so we have a novelty target that people can contribute towards as well, which is to collect 10,000 socks. The sockmen claim the socks will be recycled, which would free up money for the charity. At the time, Smith had had a few too many drinks. See, now this is whatever we're about to do on the 11 o'clock show. This is funnier. He didn't quite know what to make of the request, but he gave the two men one of his socks anyway. Then they asked him to do something even more bizarre, pose for a photo with his sock. They said, we need you to pose with your sock because we need to show our organisation that you've given consent to take your property away. So I held my sock aloft and they took a snap and they went off. Smith didn't think about the incident again until a few months later, while chatting with a friend on the phone. He recounted that night and said, do you remember giving your sock away? Smith recalls, you'll never guess what happened to your sock. This is great. There's the film. We've got the film. This is great. Smith's sock had fallen into the clutches of two men, Stephen Bain and Stephen Gawthrop, who later came to be known as the Southport Sockmen. The men's apartments were eventually raided by police, who suspected they were running a fake charity. Inside Bain's house, police found thousands of meticulously catalogued individual socks wrapped in sandwich bags with individual donors' photographs attached. They were everywhere and anywhere, a police officer later testified. They were all over the furniture, hanging from lampshades and even in the microwave, frying pan and cooker. It was like there had been an explosion in a sock factory and socks had been blown all over the place. Tabloid newspapers like the Daily... This is insane, right? Like the Daily Mirror reported that the sockmen were charged with conspiring to commit acts of gross indecency. According to Smith, this is untrue. Bain and Gawthrop were convicted of inciting grievous bodily harm on one another and sentenced to 18 months in jail each. Many of these conned by the sockmen felt violated and endangered by their behaviour. Sensationalist headlines calling the sockmen perverts also appeared to have further heightened the public outrage against them. Okay, so he's made a film called Holes in Their Shoes. Smith interviewed folks from a forum before pitching the project to the British Film Institute. He was able to track down one half of the duo, the Sock Gimp, and offered him the opportunity to tell his side of the story. The deeper Smith got into the story, the more apparent it became to him that there had been a master-slave relationship in play between the sockmen, with the sockmaster regularly beating the Sock Gimp and even persuading others to do so. And what brought the abuser and the abused together? God, of course. These guys, Smith explains, and definitely the Sock Gimp, were into religion. In fact, that's how the two sockmen met. The master approached his slave-to-be at a spiritualist church and told him he'd been conversing with angels who had told him he had to collect 10,000 socks. So the promise of socks lured the Sock Gimp into subservience. Okay, the reason they were in the microwave, he was turned on by the smell of socks, and so he was heating them up to extract the aroma. They would go to bars and job centres persuading people to sell them their socks for £5 for charity. One of the sock men actually did work for the Macmillan Nurses. Surprisingly, most of the kids approached by the sock men didn't think the men were weird. They thought they were quirky and cool. The majority of this crowd were skater kids. Okay. Okay. All right. Then it gets into grooming kids. Okay, fine. Right. Let's just carry on with this. Sorry. By the way, don't forget if you're watching this and you're enjoying it, please subscribe. You can link your Amazon Prime to Twitch and subscribe for free, or you can subscribe for a few quid. If you have previously subscribed with Amazon Prime, you have to renew it every single month. Thank you.
They're currently serving 2 years for enticing 15,000 people to give them their old socks. This is absolutely true. They had claimed that the socks were to be used to raise money for charity. But they actually wanted the socks so they could satisfy their craving for sock sex.
Well, the soaring statistics for sock sex in this country speak for themselves. As we can see in the last 10 years, reported sock sex offences has risen from none at all to an estimated 2 men.
We've obtained a copy of a hardcore sock sex video of the type found in Gothrop and Baines' flat when they were arrested.
This will be fun.
We're going to show it now live on national TV. And if you stay tuned, that makes you at home just as guilty as they are.
Some socks with faces on. Okay, that's nice. Safe socks. Thank you, Tobes. This is nice. Oh! Oh! There's a sock with jizz all over it. There's a sock. There's a sock with jizz all over it. That's funny. That's funny.
Well, we obviously advise anyone watching not to try that at home. But if you feel you have to, please take the necessary precautions. Justice for the Southport 2! Former Chancellor Ken Clarke made headlines today by describing the 80% of Tory members who voted against the single currency as a tiny band of extremists. Good to see you can still add up then. Europe is an issue that just won't go away, and neither will Wim van der Laan, our European correspondent, talking to us now live from Brussels.
Here today in Brussels, the European Commission announced a new EU bill.
I don't really want to hear a fun fact, Jez. I don't really like fun
European
facts.
exchange programs. In future, these opportunities for cross-cultural enrichment will no longer be wasted on school children. Exchanges will now take place at the age of 35. You will be transported for 29 hours in a coach to Stuttgart to meet your exchange partner, a small spotty guy who plays computer games in his room all day and still lives with his mother. Meanwhile, your best mate will exchange with a big busty blonde. Upon your return, you will receive indecipherable correspondence from your partner, who will eventually stop writing to you 3 years after you have died.
Is that true, Vin?
No, I've been poking with you.
Then why are you doing this?
Because we are Europeans and we hate you British.
Wim van der Laan there, and congratulations to you, Brendan, for overcoming that tricky 6-hour time delay with Belgium.
That's all we got time for in part 1, but join us for part 2 when Ali G, the Channel 4 voice of youth, will be talking about God with the Bishop of Horsham.
Very straight link there. Nothing exciting.
Now go back, do whatever you have to do. Come back in the second half because we're going to be talking about my main man, Jesus H. Christ, with my not so main man, the Bishop of Horsham. So come back. We'll see you in the second half. Keep it real.
Okay, part 1 done.
Read all about it. Eating chips can make you gay. It's official. Eating chips makes you gay.
A little bit of homophobia. Jez, really not interested, mate. A little bit of homophobia. Eating chips can make you gay. It's a fact.
Welcome back to the 11 o'clock show, bringing you today's news with gusto.
Yesterday, the Advertising Standards Authority decreed that churches have to prove that miracles...
Sharon, thank you for the subscription. I really appreciate the support. Thank you, thank you. 6 months. Thank you.
...happen before they can advertise them in front of the churches. So we sent Ali G, the official Channel 4 voice of youth, to ask His Grace, the Bishop of Horsham, what exactly is God?
Yeah, don't stop.
Let me just explain some of the rules of Twitch, guys. Let me just explain some of the rules of Twitch. I don't ask for your permission to time you out. I time you out. I don't ask for your permission to block you. I block you. All right. Stu's upset that he got a timeout. Unlucky. Unlucky.
It goes out to the crew up top. That's it.
So, what does God look like?
Okay. Well, I think the best way I can say that is he is sort of Jesus-shaped. When you look
So
at
he's got
Jesus,
a beard.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm talking about what's inside. It's not that he's got a beard. It's the sort of person Jesus was. Okay.
Is he a man or is he a woman?
Well, he's neither a man nor a woman. He's
Is
God.
he a like
God.
ladybug?
He's a being.
Is he a ladybug? Jesus.
So what has God ever done?
That's a great question.
He made the world. Okay. He created.
He made the world?
Okay, of course.
Did he?
Well, I can only tell you what I believe, man. I mean, I can't
Oof, a cool vicar. Cool vicar.
prove it to you. It's faith.
So you're saying God made the world?
That's what I believe, yeah.
And since then he's just chilled?
This is lovely.
So what about then...
This is nice. It's not taking the piss out of religion. It's not really taking the piss out of this guy. This is nice. Whimsy.
The Virgin Mary, was she really a virgin?
I believe that Mary was a virgin, yeah. She found that she was pregnant. And she asked the question, how can this be? I mean, I'm surprised she said, how can this be?
But we know girls that also say, me find me pregnant. They find me pregnant, you know, what happened? And, you know, the mother will ever say, listen, girl, you know, you've been...
Who arranged the Ali G interviews? A really good question, Zara. It was, well, I guess Dan Mazer was producing these. Dan Mazer and Andrew Newman were in charge of these. So I guess they booked it, and they would probably have filmed some that didn't work. I know later on they got it when Ali G became famous, they found it really, really difficult to find people that didn't know who Ali G was. They succeeded, but it became more difficult. That's why he went to America in the end. I remember one that James Bobin, I think, was directing. It was going to be later on. It wasn't just one-on-one interviews. He would go and experience things. And one of them was like this. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was some retreat somewhere. And it was like a not a commune, but there were. I remember being told there were lots of people in robes and things, and it took ages to set up. And Sasha didn't. They would always kind of bring him in at the last minute, and just as they were about to bring him in, one of the people went, "It's not Ali G, is it?" And the James and Dan were like, "Oh shit!" And I think they cancelled it.
Mucking around. Well, maybe he was drunk. Maybe something happened.
Were these guys in on it at all? No. Scotty says, did the Ali G guests sign the release consent forms to show before or after the interview? Probably after. Here's the thing. This interview is 2.5 minutes, right? They would have filmed for about 40 minutes. So most of the interview would have been sensible. 2 minutes of it would have been silly. And they thought he was just an idiot.
Okay, well...
Don't lie to me. So, do you do miracles?
Well, if I have, they would always have to be in the name of the Lord.
Aye.
Lindsay Irwin, that's my name. I can't do miracles. God does miracles.
So can you do a miracle now?
Well, it depends what you mean. What do you mean? I mean,
a miracle.
What I would not do, what I
now?
would not do is test God. You know, one of the things the Bible says is, don't test God.
Aye.
Don't say, hey, that chair could lift up in the air to test God.
But can you do that?
No, I can't.
What thing was that, Pete? What was the, Pete says, got to say, that's the one thing from this series I almost wish you hadn't told us about the interviews being longer. So it worked, man.
A miracle if everybody treated each other like brothers, wouldn't it?
Respect, though some brothers fight.
I know they do. But that would be a better miracle than this chair getting up and moving up and down. If everyone treated each other as brothers. Now, for me...
No, if this chair went up and down, that would be amazing. But why did Jesus commit suicide then?
He didn't commit suicide. He didn't commit suicide. Yes, he didn't commit suicide.
Why did Jesus commit... Why did Jesus commit suicide?
crucified. That's where they killed people in those days.
Why did they kill him?
Why did they kill him? Because he challenged evil, and when you challenge evil, the forces of evil want to destroy you.
So why challenge evil then? Why not flee if you're going to get killed? I just want to say big up. Big up yourself, Bishop.
Big up.
That's nice. Whimsy, charming, lovely.
So just what has the advertising authority demanded from the church? Well, according to today's Times, miracles like the ones advertised outside churches will now have to be backed up by rigorous scientific evidence if they're going to be used for propaganda purposes.
Key Christian catchphrases are now going to have to be rephrased to meet advertising trading standards. The slogan, Christ saves, is now going to have to be rephrased as ancient Palestinian bloke can make you feel quite good inside. Jesus loves me is going to become I am very lonely indeed. And if you're wearing a sandwich board that has the end of the world is nigh on it, you'll have to change it to I am mad. I believe in God now, but I'm not far from murder.
Well, we have a caller to the show who's, yeah, okay, let's say no more. I think Derry Girl says, I think Ali G was popular because you don't even have to understand about politics to get him. Yeah, I think he was popular because he was funny. That's it, he was funny. Zara says, I don't think Sasha or Ricky would be where they were now if it wasn't for this show. I think they would. Ricky had already filmed the pilot for The Office. I remember quite early him showing us the pilot for The Office, and it was a very different beast. It was about him as a David Bowie impersonator. Have you seen it? So, yeah, I think he probably... Yeah, they would have done. They would have done. Thank you for the raid, Richmond Mike.
Crime news, and this week one of the most notorious female figures from British criminal history was in the papers again, trying her best to come across as a normal, reformed character. Tracy Andrews began her appeal against her conviction for killing her fiancé Lee Harvey, who was stabbed to death following an apparent road rage confrontation. Now, Tracy shocked the nation when, in her supposed time of grief...
Fucking hell, where is this going?
All she could do was attack the plotline of the Burt Reynolds classic, Smokey and the Bandit.
It's the most stupid, vile thing that can come out of just a car chase.
Hey, Chihuahuas.
The GQ Man of the Year awards were held last night in London's glitzy West End in a celebration of the country's most stylish, witty and charismatic men. Category winners included David Beckham and Michael Caine. Our very own it girl, Pandora Box Granger, was there reporting from the front line.
It's raining men, Harry Krishna, it's raining men.
That's nice. That's nice.
Right here at the Café de Paris, the Gook Magazine Awards are being held for Man of the Year, which means I am going to be drenched by the scrummiest men humped full of testosterone. I just hope I don't get any on my dress. Gosh, it's Tamara. She looks quite good for an ugly person. Oh, is that girl from EastEnders?
Hey, that was Lisa Faulkner, wasn't it? Is that Lisa Faulkner?
I just hope I don't get any on my dress. Gosh, it's Tamara. She looks quite good for an ugly person. Oh, is that girl from EastEnders?
Lisa Faulkner. Brendan and Fred. Why were they there and I wasn't?
Phil Collins and Jason Donovan. So with my celebrity antennae, most girls would be absolutely green with ivy in my position. Oh, there's Fat Pat from Albert Square. He's a vicious spot. Oh, there's that Welsh bloke. I wonder if he's got any drugs. Anyway, I've got to go inside, but I do have the words of my mother ringing in my ears. Pandora, men are only after one thing. And I don't remember what that is, but it's something to do with cars, I think. Anyway, I have to go out and be a man. I got him!
I mean, it feels so slow.
We all rely on newspapers for our information. We need them to be the bastions of truth in our other...
There was no applause to that. I wonder if that was dropped in later.
Corrupt society. A free and unfettered press is one of the pillars of civilization, none more so than the Sunday sport. Tonight, we booted up our genuine 11 o'clock show
Oh, I bet it's Tony Livesey.
lie detector as developed by
Tony
the Israeli
Livesey.
Secret Service to the editor of the Sunday Sport, Mr. Tony Livesey.
This is a real lie detector. I've met Tony a few times. Very nice guy.
Thank you very much. You sit in the barber's chair of doom.
Yes.
Don't worry, you won't die. It's just a name. Put this red thing on there. There we go.
This is a really shit lie detector. It's a headset, and you spoke into the headset, and the computer, 1998 computer, it would tell if you were lying or not. I mean, and it was supposed to work.
That's close to your
All
mouth.
systems go.
Oh, trip over that. Okay, are you ready?
I'm glad I've been given this chance to uphold the integrity of my profession, yes.
Now, it's funny, Tony. Is he still on 5 Live, Tony Livesey, or did he get the boot? Not really nice guy. But strange transition from Sunday Sport to 5 Live.
Now, Tony, this is a genuine lie detector. Are you going to be able to tell us the truth today? I hope so. Here we go. Here's your first question. Would you stake your life on...
They're giving me this bit to me.
Even one of the following headlines, OK? Hitler was a woman.
Undoubtedly. She invented the A-line skirt so she could goose step.
But I've seen pictures of him. He was a man, surely. Now, aliens turn man into fish finger.
Absolutely correct. The mother even identified it from a packet we bought from Asda.
That's the truth. OK, and this is my favourite. Is this a true headline? Face of Elvis appears on Cowpat.
Yes, that's right. That was Smellvis. It's also true that this Sunday I've got a picture of the woman, because we've got twice as much colour now, the woman with breasts, each one is the exact same size, weight and dimensions of George Graham's head.
Do you respect your readers?
Of course I do, 100%. They keep me in a large salary.
Something like unsure here. I think
No, he was... I don't think his gags... I think he's genuinely... You know, they came out and this is what they did. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? But it's a mess. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier on, that Channel 4, at this stage, weren't that... the success of the bits weren't necessarily the most important aspect of it. They just wanted to see if it worked. They wanted to try stuff and try stuff. They wanted to try skits. They wanted to try bits. They wanted to try writers and so that. Did the studio audience ever heckle, says Mike's? No. Brothers in Arms 21. I'm streaming full time. Follow me for updates.
Careful when you're answering the
That's because I don't get a large salary, actually.
You're talking out of your arse, sunshine. That's a lie.
Oh dear.
You don't deny. What's your favourite ever headline you've had?
My favourite ever headline, I think, was aliens turned my daughter into an olive, but I drank her one Christmas.
They were trying to find a new way of interviewing guests. This is what this is. They're trying to find a way to interview guests that isn't just, hey, we've got Tony Livesey on now. Hey, Tony, why don't you tell us about... They were trying to do this.
In a martini.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think he's been a very good sport, and he tells the truth. Give it up for Tony Livesey. Thank you.
Give it up for Tony Livesey. Give it up for Tony Livesey.
Oh, well, that's all we've got time for.
Sorry, but there's something not quite right with the ambience here. Oh yeah, I think I've got it.
Good night.
Good night.
And the show's back for the last time this week, tomorrow at 5 to 11.
Paul Garner, John Gordillo, Ben Cordell, Sean Pye, who was originally going to be the third person. I mean, yeah, there you go. That's it. Brendan Burns, didn't he just get top billing because of the... it was alphabetical, I think. Tora says, did you ever appear on The Word? No. If you want to ask any questions, now is the time to ask questions, because we're done with that episode. And I don't think... I wonder... I wonder if there's anything... What am I doing? 1 OCD. I don't want 1 OCD. I want 11 OCS. Peter Holmes, does he do Would I Lie to You? I don't know. It's very, very possible. Very possible. I just wonder if there's any odd little bits and pieces on this 11 OCS channel that we can show you. Save the Opera House. I don't know when those are from. Iain Lee, New Labour, New Language. Oh, I'll tell you what I can show you. I've got a couple of videos. Hey, Human, thank you for the bits. 500 bits. I really appreciate that a lot. Thank you. On this YouTube channel are a couple of the videos that I made before the series started. So this one here was the first ever video, the second ever video that I made for my audition. So the first one was I went along and had a meeting and they had a camera. Sorry. I went along and they had Andrew Newman and Helen Weeks and someone else. Maybe it was just those two. Film me in a suit doing vox pops about art, the politicians spending money on art. And that got me through to kind of the second round. And this, the same suit, I was living at my mum's and I had to find a story in my local paper, and we would then do a news report on it. And they wanted a really small local story that they would treat as though it was a big news story. So I found a story in the paper about a guy who'd been tied up to a lamppost on his stag night. And so we went and filmed this, and then I had all this raw footage, and I was sat in my bedroom in my mum's house, because I was skint. It was hot. I remember it being really hot. And I had to go through it all. And basically, I edited this myself. Never done it before. And I was taking time codes and I was writing bit, and I stole a lovely little bit off of Chris Morris where I speak at I say something in the voiceover that I then say in the clip. And so I put all of this together, and then I went into their in-house studio, which was just like in this cupboard under the stairs on Percy Street, and I put this together. And I remember being really proud of this. It may be shit. Let's have a look.
On this coming Saturday, 26-year-old Alex Cohen will be marrying his fiancée here. On this coming Saturday, 26-year-old Alex Cohen will be marrying his fiancée here in the sleepy village of Stoke Poges. Yet this small hamlet on the outskirts of Slough was rudely awakened by an act of savagery, the likes of which have never been seen before. On June the 14th, Mr. Cohen was enjoying a lively evening out, celebrating his stag night with 16 of his male friends. He doesn't remember what happened. The next morning, he woke up naked except for a large baby's nappy and was chained to this lamppost. Mr. Cohen was unharmed, but things could have been very different.
Just over there is the Wheat Sheaf pub where I used to go, and you could smoke weed, you could smoke dope in there, and bands would go and play.
Different. Slough now seems set to join Lockerbie and Dunblane as one of those places symbolic of man's great inhumanity towards man. And although it's too early to start apportioning the blame, I'm here in Slough to ask why.
I couldn't remember a piece that long now. Who would do such a sick sort of thing?
Friends, maybe.
Do your friends do that to you, sir?
Some friends do, not mine, but somebody else's might.
Alex Cohen's friends?
Could be.
Supposing his cock had slipped out, what would happen then?
Depends on whether he likes it or not.
Do you like it, sir?
Well, under the right circumstances, with the right company, yes.
Would you like to have seen Alex Cohen's cock slip out?
No, I wouldn't, because I don't know the guy.
Do you ever consider doing this to anyone?
Not really, no.
You hesitate there for a second. Would you consider stripping someone naked and tying them to a lamppost?
I used to live on the Britwell estate, Ems, a lot, 120 Monksfield Way.
As some sort of revenge attack?
No, as revenge, maybe as a laugh, maybe.
Not as revenge, but maybe as a laugh. How is that funny?
No.
Surely custard pies in the face and banana skins and falling on your ass is funny. Having your penis shown to old ladies isn't funny, is it?
No, probably not.
So, do you take back what you just said about it being a laugh?
Yeah.
Do you want to apologise for actually saying that, just in case anyone's seen that who's been involved in an incident? Yeah. Just say, I'm sorry for saying that it was a laugh.
I'm sorry for saying it's a laugh.
And I would never do that to anyone.
I would never do that to anyone.
Can you just do that all in one to the camera?
I'd never do that to anyone.
Mr. Cohen was a young man, so who better to talk to than Karen Brown, Slough Council's young person officer?
Now, this was awkward because I rocked up and I used to go to college with her. And she was like, what are you doing? Is he taking the piss? She didn't buy any of this.
Last year there were no recorded incidents of this taking place. This year there's been one recorded incident of this taking place. That's an increase of one recorded incident of this taking place. Are those worrying figures for the youth of Slough?
I think so, and hopefully, let's hope it's not going to be an epidemic.
If this does become an epidemic, one group who is good at helping those chained up is Amnesty International.
What do you think about the Alex
this woman was nice. I liked her. I think she had MS.
Cohen case?
I can't say.
But Alex Cohen was a 26-year-old man who was stripped and chained to a lamppost. Could Amnesty do anything to help him?
By whom?
Well, that's the thing, we don't know.
I mean, was this in Northern Ireland? Was this?
This was in Stoke Poges.
Sorry, I just don't know the case.
Okay, you don't think Amnesty could do anything to help someone who was stripped and chained to a lamppost?
By whom?
Well, that's the question. No one knows exactly who's done it.
Well, and that would be the kind of case that we need to know a lot more information about.
In the search...
This is funny. This bit I nicked from Chris Morris. My voiceover going into this bit. This guy was nice.
In the
used to smoke weed in that church graveyard.
search for that information, we approached Slough holy man, the Reverend David Meal, who certainly had a lot to say about making sure that people don't go homeless or
about
jobless.
making sure that
and
people
so
don't go homeless or jobless and so on.
It's interesting you mention caring for others, because there was a story recently about Alex Cohen, who was tied to a lamppost, stripped and tied to a lamppost and left by his so-called friends. Do you see that as a sign of crumbling moral standards that are being...
Gatford asked, when did the 11 o'clock show staff start going to the Griffin pub? How do you know about that? I don't know. I never went. That was strippers, I believe, in that pub, and you put £1 in a pint glass. I never went.
...in a way by crumbling moral standard woodworms that eat moral standards. Do you see that as being the case?
Yeah, I mean, I think in any society, in any advanced society, there will always be elements within it who don't fit in, and sometimes we're glad of that. We're glad of the way that people don't fit in. I mean,
are you glad that he was stripped and tied to the lamppost?
What I'm saying is that we have. I think in a modern civilized society, we have to allow people to be on the extremes. So we're not going to make everybody conform and always behaving in a set way. And I think one of the dangers of that kind of freedom in a civilized society is that some people will abuse those freedoms and go off the rails.
Off the rails or off his face? Slough Drugs counsellor Moira Lane made the narcotics lamppost connection painfully clear.
Do you think this could possibly have been a drug deal gone wrong, being taped to a lamppost naked?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
No.
And do you think he could have been on drugs? Is that the sort of thing you do if you're on drugs? I mean, I don't really know.
People do a lot of things under the influence of drugs. In my mind, in my own opinion, and obviously it's just my opinion, I would say it's high spirits.
Really?
But obviously I can't say...
So you don't think it was some tripped out love rush type thing at all?
With the drug link now established, the connection with organised crime was obvious. All roads led to Mr. Kwok.
Does this bear any of the hallmarks of a triad attack?
The home was...
I think you know what I'm saying.
Mr. Kwok was obviously reluctant to discuss the triad connection, so the lamppost bondage villains still roam free.
Although the perpetrators of this horrific crime have yet to be apprehended, we've handed in our dossier to the police. This is Iain Lee reporting for the 11 o'clock show, Slough.
That was nice. I mean, that was nice. That was nice. That was nice. That was nice. Did I ever break and laugh? Yeah. Yeah, I did. I would sometimes would laugh. That was fun. I think we're done. Next week we may have episode 4 from series 1, or we might move to series 3. Series 2. I just don't know. Are you enjoying these? I mean, the audience figures live are dropping, but that is because there is a Love Island final on. Human, did I get your bits? Thank you if I missed that. Thank you. I'm wondering if there is something in this or not. Don't forget, I've got to do the business. If you want to subscribe, if you're watching live on Twitch on a Sunday night at 8 p.m, you can link your Amazon Prime account to Twitch and subscribe for free. I get a $5 that you could never get your hands on, and it helps me out. Thank you. If you haven't got Amazon Prime, you can still subscribe, or you can send bits or donate. PayPal.me/Iain Lee. These go out live Sunday night. I'm so tired. Twitch.tv/Iain Lee. Then they get uploaded to YouTube, and then they'll start going out as a podcast at acast.com/Iain Lee 11. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.
I don't think it's worth carrying on.